Oh, we're going live with the new broadcast setup. Oh, yeah. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are live for the MMA Huddle. I am hopefully coming to you nice and clear. Got a new setup. We've got a fiber fitted, so I'm hoping that. New settings, new surroundings, new setup. Sorry that Big Willie style is not here, ladies and gentlemen. Big Willie is tied up. If any of you at home are family, got a children or anything like that in your life, you'll understand that stuff like that happens. He also has other things going on in the world. If you follow his channel, Will Martin's channel, MMA, you'll see as well. He'll probably put a little message out there for everyone to keep him updated for anyone that subscribes to his channel. But I hope everyone is doing well. Happy Independence Day for everyone across the pond. If you're in the US, I hope you're all having a great time. I hope you had a great long weekend. And of course, if you're based in the British Isles, if you're from the Isle of Man, it's Tynwald Day. So we've both got a celebration on both sides of the ponds. And yeah, look, I just want to send love to everyone. I hope everyone's keeping well, keeping safe. That's the main thing. I see that a lot of things going on right now with the football. Sadly, England are doing well, which, not being English, it's not what we want to see, but hopefully they'll get knocked out by the Danish. I'd love to hear your Euro predictions if you think they're going to win. And yeah, we're going to break down this UFC 264 card. We've had a week off. We had a nice little break, and they're hitting us hard with this. You know, they're coming at us with Dustin Poirier, Conor McGregor trilogy. The card as a whole, you know, there's a handful of cheeky fights on there that I think have gone on the radar, but as overall, it's okay. I feel like we got short-handed by the Sean O'Malley fight, but you know, it's one of those things. Thomas, good to see you, man. What does Conor do if you lose Dustin? I think he sleeps really hard on that millions and millions of dollars that he made from selling his shares in his whiskey brand to the company. I can't remember the name of the company now, but apparently he made an astronomical amount selling his side of it. It doesn't matter what he does. He's still the face of the brand of this whiskey, but I've got to be honest with you. I'm curious about what Conor's going to do, brother. I am with you, man. I'm curious about what he's going to feel, what he's going to do, where's the hunger, where's the drive, because I understand with Khabib out of the picture, he bounced back. As soon as Khabib was out of the picture, he came along for, got a chance here to get that belt again, but it's that division's a different kettle of fish, and now with Charles Oliveira at the helm, man, I am absolutely stoked to see what can happen with it. So if he does lose to Dustin, man, maybe trying to sell himself in a boxing match, but what else can he do? You know, there's the Nate offer there, maybe. The value in Nate's gone down a bit, Conor and Nate, but it gets to the point then where Conor's not the big draw anymore. So for him, realistically, from a career point of view, he needs the W, but we're going to jump into the card, though, then. See now where we've got a few in. Oh, here we go. Tom's kicking off there. Yeah, since Khabib, Conor hasn't been the same, and I can't see him beating top lightweights. That's the thing. Got like Mike Chandler in that division too. What would Mike Chandler be like for Conor McGregor? You know, the kind of speed that Mike Chandler has, the wrestling that he has. You know, there's a couple of new fresh faces for him to deal with in that division itself. So it's a lot to take in. There's a lot for us to absorb with Conor McGregor now compared to a few years back. That division changes in a way that you've got Dustin Poirier, who's another level, and he's just wanted to Justin Gaethje. He's not a chance against Conor. So, man, a lot of questions, Thomas, but great that you joined in, brother. We're going to jump into the first fight in the card. I'm going to quickly make little timestamps because, like I said to you, ladies and gentlemen, we get the little timestamp warriors who kick off if I don't make a mark. Going straight down the 185 division, we've got Alen Amedovski against, here we go, Yaozong, who, man, I don't understand Yaozong getting even signed to the UFC. Came in as a 3-0 fighter, fought basically a couple of cans on the regional scene, or guys with zero to no experience. He's not a good fighter. Here we go. Kai Robinson. How you doing, Kai? Does Poirier outclass Conor within 3 rounds. I believe Conor has no passion for the sport. He has passion for money, and sometimes money's a factor. Money can drive a guy to fight. If you need it, he doesn't necessarily need it. The money he'll make off this fight, it's going to be pennies to the money he makes from the brand that that he had with the whiskey. While I'm here, I'll just quickly have a quick look at the value that he did sell. McGregor, here we go. Let's have a look here, see what I can find for you guys. Sells proper 12. Here we go. There you go. Along with the co-founders, here you go. So there's majority shares per whiskey. $600 million deal. Like $600 million. Like, why does he doesn't even need to get out of bed in the morning. Man, if I'm getting paid that money, why would I want to punch in the face? Conor got 10-minute max in him. UFC betting experience. Good to see you, brother. Hope you keep him well. Max in him before it doesn't get him out. Yeah. He does gas out because if he does explode, because Conor McGregor's style is explosive movements. He isn't a guy on nutrition. He is a guy on explosion. I will talk obviously when I get to his fight about him and Dustin the second time round. I don't know if Conor's going to win this first round. If it lasts more than one round, Dustin wins. Well, that's the thing. When it's a 5-round fight, a lot of guys fight for 5 rounds. They fight for the style of 5-round fight. With Conor, he does kind of tend to want to get that fight over and done with pretty quick. And like I say, we'll jump onto that momentarily when we get through these other prelim cards and other fights. But like I said, Yaozong, Cyril Asker absolutely walked that all over him. Rashad Kulza, 205 was a pretty painful experience to watch. You know, there's not much clean striking on him. He comes a bit aggressive, goes for the clinch work on the cage. He's fighting a guy in Alen Amedovski who, outside of the UFC, hell of a lot of power in his hands. Got stopped by John Phillips with the overhand left in like 14 seconds. But prior to that, the Jotko fight, he just got out-grappled in that fight, or just outworked by Jotko's kind of new style. But on Bellator, the guy's got a lot of one-punch power. I think they've got more invested interest in Alen Akhmedovski. They feel like the guy's probably going to put a bit more of an entertainment show for them. And with the guy like this, like Toro's going to get, I think you might see him get stopped, man. He's dropping again from heavyweight to light heavyweight down to 85. Alen Amedovski, I can see him getting a stoppage here. Like, I haven't seen the betting lines for it, but I can definitely see him getting a KO in that fight. So for me, I've got to go one way, and that is all day Alen here. I think he gets a stoppage. I'm going to jump down to the 125 division. Let me just, do you know what? If I forget, I'll forget, and then people will moan, and I'll have to do it. Let me get the timestamps up. Here we go. And by the way, you can feel free to talk about the Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier fight all the time during the whole stream. Obviously, it is the one that's capturing everyone's attention. It's the fight that everyone's interested in. I 100% agree. I obviously am just trying to pay a balanced respect to the other fights and talk about those. So feel free to pitch in anytime about any of the other fights, guys. So Shaul Glass, Zhumagulov. And he's taking on Jerome Rivera. It's a pink slip fight. It's the best way to describe it. The both of them, like, you got, so Shaul Glass is 0-2 in his last 2 fights. You've got Jerome, who's 0-3, which I'm surprised he even got another fight in the UFC because of that. He won a Dana White Contender Series, but since then he's, I've been curious about what he's offered. He's been stopped twice. Tyson Nam stopped him. Ode Osborne stopped him. He had a battle with Figueiredo, Francisco Figueiredo. Shaul Glass, on the other hand, he's a bit more of a toughened battle guy. He doesn't like tall fighters, though. So this fight actually weirdly kind of suits Jerome a little bit. Can you see Conor going back to featherweight? Nah, Thomas. I can't see him go down to featherweight again. 145 is a hell of a cut. And the problem with the 145 cut, my brother, it's too much on the body. For someone like Conor now, he's definitely physically grown out of 145. Fighters tend to do that. Dustin Poirier is another example. He's not going down to 145. There's a kind of balance between what age you are, your physical strength, and ability to get down to that weight class, and where you can get yourself to that weight class as a healthy way and fight it that way. And he's able to, and it seems that Conor, I don't think he would go down to 145. I just don't think it's any good for him. You go, Shaul Glass, easy win here for Jerome, not UFC level. Yeah, I kind of thought that about Jerome. Shaul Glass, on the other hand, like he did beat Ali Valentinov in a split decision, so he's and he beat Tagir Ulanbekov, so he kind of and he beat Tyson Nam. So you've got three solid guys with reputable names who has been on the regional scene. He kind of just fell short in his fights. I felt that when he fought Amir Albazi, he kind of had a bit of difficulty with the height and the range. Jerome hasn't mastered his height and range yet. He hasn't quite mastered that side of the fight. But I do see this one going to the distance. I definitely see a 3-rounder in this. Let's see, can you see him going to welterweight to challenge Usman? He won't get near Usman, Thomas. He wouldn't get a title fight because as a hypothetical, if he'd lost to Dustin Poirier, it's too much of a hard sell to say, look, you lost again, have a shot at 170. Like, who's he going to beat at 170, man? Like, yeah. You could do him against Jorge Masvidal, maybe. That would be a fun one. You know, you got to think about guys who think about dudes who are 170 that he could go up against. I think he'd get eaten alive in that division. I really do. I think he'd have a horrid time. I thought Nate Diaz is a 155 who just didn't cut the weight. I think as a whole, he would not have a good time with that. So, yeah. But back to this fight, I think Shawglass has a workload that he puts out, that kind of high energy, the movement. I think he might be able to get the decision win. It's not a fight I'm overly excited about. It is a pink slipper, whoever takes the loss. It depends what hunger you got. But with Jerome losing 3 in a row, it shows that on his third attempt, he just wasn't cutting the mustard to get that W. So, you know, I kind of look past that, and I think that he's probably just not ready for the UFC, or he's just not going to be UFC level. So I'm going to bypass him and go with Shawglass here. I think Shawglass can actually get himself back in a win, get himself a UFC win. I don't like these fights because both of them realistically probably need to get cut. If you can't get a win, why would you put them against each other? But that's such as life. We're going to 185 division. We're going to quickly go there. Oh, wait, there, Gustav. I'm going to jump in here, brother, and big one this weekend. Yeah, very pumped. Yeah, I'm going with Aldana. Oh, Dustin Poirier, hard-fought decision. You think it'll go 5 rounds, bro? Man, I would be surprised if it went 5 rounds. I really would. I'd just be surprised if Conor would last 5 rounds with the boxing that Dustin Poirier offers, the power in his hands. I'd be surprised if it went 5 rounds. I definitely see a finish from either party. Like I said, 185 division, you've got Omari Akhmedov against Brad Tavares. A pretty middle ground kind of middleweights. You know, the two of them are never going to be kind of fighting the elite levels. Akhmedov got a win back over Tom Breeze after losing to Chris Weidman. That was his big opportunity for Akhmedov to kind of get into and break the kind of top 10, top 5 kind of kind of middleweight division. Was falling short with Chris Weidman, who I thought was beatable. But again, Akhmedov is a guy who has got a lot of power for the first round, and then he's just toughened. He's got like no neck, can take a bit of a hit, and he just gets those first rounds or so in the way, and he gets that out of him. But Brad Tavares, on the other hand, you know, Brad Tavares is a dude. He lost to Israel Adesanya, as we all know at the time. He wasn't champion, but he went on to a great run. Edmund Shabazian, who in his own right was a fantastic finish there from him, and then he got the win back against Antonio Carlos Jr., who's since been cut by the UFC. But as a whole, Brad Tavares, he's a very good veteran of the sport. Fantastic all-rounder. I like what he can bring. I like the striking that he can bring. Tavares has got a decent enough chin. I think with Akhmedov, he's going to definitely try to clinch and maybe grapple a bit with Brad Tavares, because Brad Tavares, he trains, as you know, with Ray Sefo, does a lot of the kickboxing, a lot of footwork. I'm kind of torn because I think if Brad Tavares can just keep his chin tucked in a bit more, he could probably have the better of the exchanges here. I think he could definitely get the better of this fight. Akhmedov, if he gets the fight to the ground, that's going to be his go-to. But I want to go Brad Tavares. I think he's got such a great coaching kind of game and people around him. I do feel Brad Tavares gets a little bit overlooked in fights. Veteran of the UFC, ton of experience, great footwork, great hands, power as well. I think he could definitely put the workload on Akhmedov, because Akhmedov isn't a guy who's a fan of people with a high workload, and that's something that Brad Tavares brings to the table. Quick wet the old cockles there, ladies and gentlemen. Next up, we are jumping over to the ladies 125 division. We've got Jennifer Maia against Jessica I. And I has got an OnlyFans account, and she is pushing that hard. I think it's some crazy one. Like you could pay an astronomical amount for just pictures. Why would you do that? I'm not being funny. You stand on a weighing scale in your underwear. People get enough from that love. But you got Jessica Rai coming back again. She's lost 2 MMA bouts. So she lost to Cynthia Carvalho against Joanne Calderwood. And between those, she's lost 2 grappling matches as well. She's at that stage, really at that point on a career where she's not going up in skill set. The girls around her are evolved and growing as mixed martial artists because they're a bit younger and they're just, she's the veteran of the game. She's been around a long time. Can she put one over on someone like Jennifer Maia, who, in her own right, she's 32 years old. She had a nice little few wins. She got a decision loss to Caitlin Kukin, which was awful because, let's be honest, Caitlin Kukin is, I'll say it once, I'll say it again, a female tennis player in MMA. But Valentina Shevchenko got a decision against Maia. And to be honest with you, that was a hard-fought fight. Great fight to watch. I really enjoyed it. Muay Thai 23, great to see her, brother. Jessica I needs to be serving drinks and nachos in the crowd. She's trash. I just think she's stagnated in the sense that the 125 division was where she always claimed she was meant to be. When she got the opportunity, don't get me wrong, she got a handful of wins. She got the chance against Valentina Shevchenko, proclaimed she was going to be kicking ass, getting the belt and being there at the top. Shevchenko kind of went, nope, I'm going to spark you out, bitch. And she did, rightfully so. Jennifer Maia is just a dogged fighter. This is something about Jennifer Maia. She is so gritty. She's got the grappling. She's decent on her back, decent on top as well. She's aggressive with the striking. Jessica, I will be probably trying to keep her on the outside. Here we go. I think Maia got this one. Gustav, there you go. And I just feel like that Jennifer Maia is going to be so in front of Jessica I's face. Jessica I will be wanting to try and box her way through this fight with 3 rounds, pumping on the jab, just pump that jab out, and just keep her on the end of them. That's what her goal will be. I just can't see it. There's going to be a lot of exchanges of grappling, a bit of to and fro on the ground. She never evolved as a fighter in Muay Thai 23. I kind of feel like that. I feel like she never really expanded what her arsenal was and what her skill sets were. She has obviously tried to do the grappling competitions, which I will say, well done. Can't take my hat off to it. She's expanded his skill set in that way, but I feel like sometimes it's a little bit too late. She should have been doing this a long time ago, really pushing herself, putting a name out there to get those kind of bouts. So I'm kind of on the Jennifer Maia side. I think she can be super aggressive. She could cause a lot of problems for Jessica I just think Jessica's not going to get that time that she wants in that cage, the bit of distance, and get those W's. So, yeah, I'm going that way. But at the same time, you never know what's going to happen. Next up, we have, let's see here. We have got in the 145 division, Ryan Hall against Ilia Topuria, which is a insanely, disgustingly fun fight. Like, I am all over this one. When I saw this, I thought it's a grapple fest with insane potential. Ryan Hall is a guy who's kind of stuck in the MMA world. 2015 UFC tough finale, gets a decision win against Artem Lobov, and then he had a Gray Maynard win. 2 guys who aren't that superb, but for Ryan Hall in his MMA career, perfect opportunities. BJ Penn heel hook. Don't get me wrong, the heel hook was sexy as fuck, but at the same time, that wasn't a great win. BJ Penn in 2018 was embarrassing. Darren Elkins, that was a good win in 2019. I thought that was a decent win for him. I was surprised he got the W there. I thought Darren Elkins could have got the win over him with a bit of veteran movements, but overall, he's been stuck since 2019, getting nothing, fights falling through, and it just hasn't worked out for him. So for someone who's been out for 2 years, it's a long time to be out. If you're Ryan Hall, 2 years out of MMA, but then again, how much has Ryan Hall learned in MMA? Like, how much has he developed his striking? Has he worked on his footwork? Has he pumped a bit of size on him? Has he, worked a little bit on other little skill sets that we haven't seen? We don't know. And he could very well be putting that show on to us. Topuria, on the other hand, he had a great one against Damon Jackson. He showed power in his hands that it wasn't really clear at the time. got that finish, and it just looked like his hands were sharp and powerful. The Yusuf Zalal fight, that was a great one. If you look at his regional shows as well, you had him fight on there with some great submission games. And one thing about it is the submissions he's getting aren't the same ones. It's not like he has a set goal where he goes triangle specialist or head knob choke. He's getting variable chokes, so his submission opportunities are there all the time. Ryan Hall, don't get me wrong, insanely high-level grappler, so he's probably not going to get fallen into it. Lilo will put a beating on the old man. Lilo's a scary prospect. I'm UFC bet experience. I kind of am with you on this one. I am going to say I'm with Topuria. I think his hand speed and his power is something that Ryan Hall's not going to appreciate. Ryan Hall will want Topuria to engage in a grappling bout, get the fight to the ground, and that's where Ryan Hall will feel comfortable. He'll feel like this is my world, come involved, and I'll take you to Choketown, because Ryan Hall is. It's not to say Topuria is not the high-level grappler, but it's just not that there is levels to grappling. And Ryan Hall, in his own right, is probably one of the strongest, best grapplers in the UFC, bar none, like straight grappling. Topuria, though, Ryan Hall's got to get the fight to the ground, and that's something he's lacked. He hasn't got wrestling. In Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu competitions, he can get away with pulling guard, jumping, grabbing a leg and lying there, or playing possum on his back, etc. He can get away with that because with the grappling competition, the only way to grapple is you have to engage. So if your opponent goes on their back, you get to go on top, you can start to do stuff, etc. So it plays out well both ways. But for me, I feel like here Topuria can keep the fight on the feet and really put a pace and put a beating on Ryan Hall. I think Ryan Hall might be end up being a bit bloodied and messed up after this one. And I think Topuria is sharp enough on the ground to kind of evade enough from Ryan Hall to not get tapped out. I'm going to go up now to the 185 division, where we've got Duplessis against Giles. Now, I'm looking forward to this one because I like Duplessis as a fighter. I think he's an entertaining dude, super aggressive, just comes forward. The Mark Perez debut, gets a knockout, gets a great stoppage. Wonderful work. Trevin Giles, he has shown as well since his Zach Cummings loss in Jerome. He showed a bit of an evolution. He got split decision win with James Krause, who James Krause at 155 going up to 185. I wasn't something that I was overly impressed about, but the Bevan Lewis fight, he got that stoppage in the third round, so that was kudos to him. And the Roman Deloitte fight, that was a solid win. That was a really good, impressive win, man. Because I thought Roman would absolutely go to town on someone like Trevin Giles and just dominate the whole 3 rounds. And he held his own. I was taken aback by that. But for me, I'm looking at this fight. Trevin Giles is going to try and slip punches, try and be evasive and land some kind of counter strikes. Duplessis just want to be aggressive, man. He's going to want to get in the face. He's going to want to try and hurt you hard. And this is where you're going to get a counter of styles, man. If Trevin Giles can use the footwork and movement to evade the strikes, or if Duplessis can be aggressive and get those stoppages in. I'm not sure on this one if Trevin Giles is going to be able to evade what Duplessis can offer, man. But here we go. Duplessis round 3 finish, please. Man, I'm guessing you got hopefully got some money on there, bro. But if he can get a 3rd round finish, that'd be awesome. Trevin Giles, he doesn't. I just feel like the output from him is just so lackluster. There's opportunities to get ahead of him on the judges' scorecards and also hurt him. As long as you don't get taken to the ground, you should be good. But you got to look at what Duplessis has got. He's got some great chokes as well, man. He can and does get involved in striking wars where he can get caught. If he can just avoid it, be smart, and really put a show on here, he could definitely get a W, and that'd be a great one against Giles, who's on a little bit of a work, on a little bit of an up. Someone on the up trend as well is good for your marketing. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he can bring. I'm probably going for Duplessis. I think he's got a lot about him. Super excited to see what he can do in that fight. Now we're going to go to the next matchup, which is 170 pounds. 2 dudes, Niko Price and Michel Pereira. The pair of them, you don't know what you're going to get. That's kind of like the thing about these guys. They're kind of exciting in that way because you don't know what the styles are going to get. Like Niko Price, he literally goes out there. He got a no contest with Donald Cerrone, but if you look at the Vincent Luque fight, got a stoppage there. Then he stopped James Vick with a duck kick. Then he got stopped by Jeff Neal. Then he stopped Tim Means. Then he got stopped by Al Hassan. Then he stopped. Randy Brown, the hammer fist. The dude is either getting stopped or stopping someone. The dude just doesn't know what a decision is. He's full ball, goes way in, and just goes crazy. It's fucking nuts. The Donald Cerrone one is the first time he's had that. And other than that, Niko Price is crazy crazy for that shit. He's just aggressive, loves to throw, loves to bang, takes a hit. He's got good cardio, and he seems to be doing like a lot of yoga. From looking on social media streams, he's looking in freakishly good shape, very dexterous. Maybe he's just trying to evolve himself and trying to prepare himself a lot better, get his body right for the fight game. But he's fighting a man in Michel Pereira. Decision win against Chaos Williams, which I was quite impressed with. I was impressed by both parties in that fight. I thought Chaos Williams did good to get 3 rounds in him. The more experience he can get like that will only bode him well, because he's got the pop in his hands. He just has to learn to get the fakes, get the timings, get the footwork. But for me, Pereira, he's bounced back after a couple of losses, and he's doing well. You know, he's solid. He's showing that he can control his flamboyant behavior. That's the word I was looking for. He can control his flamboyant behavior, which we all see is a bit fucking crazy. I was a bit stuck because I don't know who I'm going to get today. I don't know if I've got Niko Price, who's going to be crazy, aggressive, be a pain in the ass, and just put someone away. Or I'm going to get Michel Pereira, who's going to be wild and crazy. Or are they both going to be sensible, smart, and be tacticians and fight this fight properly? I don't know. They're fucking crazy. So I'm going to go with the crazy one. I'm going to go Niko Price. He's a crazy son of a bitch, doesn't hold back, and he's fun to watch. I'm going Niko Price. Don't get me wrong. A lot of people are probably going to go for Pereira. Is what it is. I'm going for a bit of fun on this one. I think he can bring a lot to the table and bring a lot of entertainment for this fight. Next fight, we're going to go up into the welterweight division. We've got Max Griffin against Carlos Condit. Man, like Max Griffin, man, the dude's he's a good fighter. Like he's a good fighter. Carlos Condit though he's not even the same dude anymore. Carlos Condit, like those fights against Matt Brown and Court McGee, they were rough viewing. It was like watching an old man of Carlos Condit. Like, he was poor in that fight, man. I did not enjoy it. When in doubt, pick the one who looks like a crackhead. That is defo Mr. Price. Yeah. Man, Carlos Condit, he's nowhere near the same fighter, man. And he's now like, he fought Court McGee, who's just got a UFC extension. Court McGee's got 4 more fights in the UFC. So we get to watch 4 more decisions in his career. Awesome. Matt Brown, who wasn't even that great in a fight, man. That was rough in itself. Michel was wild in every fight with fans. 3 out of 5 he had in the UFC. Yeah, exactly. Oh, there's going to be fans this time. Yeah, could make a difference. In the last 2, he looked good, but with no fans, something to think about. Yeah, very much so. He could just try and be the extravagant bitch and try to showboat, blow out in 30 seconds, and then Niko Price can take advantage of him. But like I say, in this one here, Max Griffin, I can't see how he loses, man. Like, he's got the grappling side of things. He started to use the hands a lot more. He seems to be able to, I know he's not beating anyone, not beating too many people worthy notes, but Carlos Condit in this day and age, I'm just not even keen on it, man. I just don't get it. I just don't see any value in Carlos Condit. He's not fighting anyone who's kind of out the door already. He's not hitting. He's not throwing the power. He's not as aggressive as he was. Max Griffin, for me, I think he's the safest bet, one of the safest bets on the card, man. I'm not excited by Carlos Condit anymore. I'd maybe be excited if he fought Dan Hardy again, because it would be probably a fun one to do, but that's about as excited I would get with a Carlos Condit fight, man. He's nowhere near the dude that was in the WEC, came into UFC with a massive bang and just shocked the world. They just kicked ass for a while. It's not the same dude, man. Since retiring and coming back, it's just not the same. It's just not the freaking same, guys. So I'm passing. I'm going to take a wide berth on Carlos there. Go Max Griffin there. I think he could definitely get a good win in this one too. Here we go. So if you go wide, they'll have to pay a heavy price. That's a bad joke, but we like a dad joke. We're jumping into the main card. Apparently, this is going to kick off the main card, man. This is so bad. People are paying a pay-per-view, and this fight got made. 135 division. Sean O'Malley's going to fight a guy called Kris Moutinho, who got called up to the UFC. You had guys lined up in 135 saying they'll fight Sean O'Malley, and they went, yeah, but we're just going to get this guy who's a regional dude who's not quite UFC level, and we're just going to get the motherfucker in the fight. I don't get it. Hey, John. Hey, BP. Hope you're doing well, too. I'm all good there. I agree with you. I'm over here. Yeah, I see a lot of love over here for who here. I think this is the weekend, like, underdog pick over Prachnio. Oh, man. Don't get me started with Prachnio. That motherfucker. I don't get how that son of a bitch is still winning. He's got no chin. Just punch him in the freaking chin, people. You've seen him drop too many times. He drops quicker than a $5 hole. I don't get it. Makes no sense. Max pressure, volume should win. Yeah, absolutely agree. UFC bet. I don't see. I think it's a safe bet, man. You have to look past the Alen loss to Phillips. Yeah, you do have to look past that. No, I agree. That happens. That's happened to how many fighters that can happen to? There's a lot of guys that can happen to. And it gets stopped with one punch, and that happens to anyone. Prelims look sick compared to the main card. Mate, when you're looking O'Malley against Kris Moutinho, a plethora of dudes want to fight Sean O'Malley, and they didn't do it. I'm just thinking, why would you not just do what everyone wants? That's what people are asking for. Give them the fight. Why would you not give people the fight? But I don't work with the UFC. I don't make the decisions. I think they see this as a potential for Sean O'Malley to get another kind of like a showcase finish on pay-per-view. Good way to kick a card off, and that's all I can. That's all I can fit. That's all I can think about. Really, I don't get it. Okay, let me just quickly go over to here. Yeah, Kris Moutinho. I watched him on the regional scenes. I wasn't overly impressed at all. I didn't see much about him that made me go, that dude's going to kick ass. He's going to do the business. Like, he's lost a couple of fights. The guy against Andrew Salas, I thought that was a poor fight, man. The standard of fighting was poor from the pair of them. He seemed hittable. His striking wasn't that great. Footwork wasn't that great. Didn't have the greatest cardio. I think it's a good one for Sean O'Malley to get back in. I know he says he's undefeated still, but man, like, he should be able to win that one. Like, Thomas Almeida fight, he should have got that done sooner. I think Almeida's chin is nowhere near where it used to be, but yeah, I just see that all day long, man. I can't look past the kid. It's just stupid to look past O'Malley on that one. I can only imagine what the odds are, to be fair. It'd be embarrassing to see what those odds were. We're going to go back up to the women's division at 135. And in that division, we've got Irene Aldana against Yana Kunitskaya. Two different style of matchups. Yana Kunitskaya will want to grapple her, get close to the cage, close grip. If she can, reap her leg, get her to the ground, get on top, and try to just grind out that fight. Obviously, a fella is Thiago Santos, who has got the Muay Thai kind of striking background, but I just don't see Kunitskaya trying to apply that fight. Aldana is the polar opposite. She wants to get away from you. She doesn't want to clinch with you. She doesn't want to grapple with you. She just wants to punch you in the face and get the fuck out of there. Look at who she's fought, Aldana. Style up the matches that suit her really well. Like, girls that want to stand with her, want to bang. Holly Holm did a great job in her own right, beating her there, really put a kind of veteran kind of lesson on her. Kunitskaya got back again in after a kind of gap of nearly 2019, 2000. So she had about a year. Was it a year off? She had about 8 months off. 8 months off, and then she had another bloody 8 months off. But she got back 2 wins in a row. She's getting those wins back. She's getting those decisions back. She's looking good. The Aspen lad fight, she keeps proclaiming that wasn't a stoppage. But as a whole, you've got two opposite style-up matchups here. What you're saying, brother, O'Malley round 2 KO is the only value bet here. I haven't even seen the odds, man. But prop bet in those odds, I'd probably say you're right, brother. But it's not the best betting, is it? Like, you'd probably go for a KO just because it's going to be easy money, but that's about it. I might do a prop bet on that one myself. Aldana, for me, she's got great hands, quick hands. She's powerful, good footwork, good movement. Kunitskaya needs to close off the cage. It's probably going to be a bigger cage. She has to close off the cage. Kunitskaya needs to really work in that that kind of dirty boxing, clinch game, grappling, get the fight to the ground. She needs to get that. She needs to get those minutes on the clock on top control to get that decision win. Can I see her do it? Can I see Unix? Can I see kind of Unix guy do it? I was kind of torn on this one because I think Aldana's got great hands. She could box the face off Yana Kunitskaya. But when you look at some of the fights she's lost, Aldana, she does get caught with these girls. Man, I'm gonna go crazy with my little badass Kunitskaya. I think she will. I think she can get the grappling done again. I kind of went on her a couple of fights when I shouldn't have, or she wasn't deemed as a favorite. But I'm gonna go with Kunitskaya. I think she's a crazy bitch can get this done. Yeah, but Aldana's got good boxing, man. It's not an easy one, is it? Let's be brutally honest. Yeah, we'll go with that. Now, next one, ladies and gentlemen, is a really quick pick because I don't have any time for wife beaters. I think if you put your hands on a woman, you're a little bitch. Is the best way to put it. And I would happily fight and say that to the fat fuck's face. Greg Hardy is fighting Tuivasa. Tuivasa is going to bum him senseless and just pee in his mouth. I don't care. I haven't got time for Greg Hardy. Absolute scum. Subhuman scum. So that's that one. That's how you do those picks, folks. Feel free to put your own picks in, but I haven't got time for a white beer. We've got next up with Gilbert Burns against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Now, that is a freaking fight. What a fight that is. Like, Wonderboy, I feel like he's been gone for the longest time. I'm just happy the dude's back fighting again. Gosh, when the last time he fought? He fought in December, but it feels like in bloody longer than that. And before that, he fought in November. Gosh, had some gaps there, hasn't he? November, then December, gap. Dude, we need Wonderboy back in a bit more often. What is he now? He's 38 years old. Well, I can see why. I don't know how much longer the dude's got in him. Here we go. Boom. WBKO is coming. Plus 300. Okay. ML is good as well. Okay. I haven't seen those, but that's good, bro. Yeah. Wonderboy KO, man. I would not be shocked at that. I'll tell you why I can see it. It's the counter striking that Wonderboy offers. He's got a good angle. He's got a good way of reading people. He's very good at it. And one thing about Gilbert Burns is he likes to be aggressive. He likes to be overly aggressive with striking. The reason why he does that is because it suits him to the ground to get the grappling aspects going. He engages the clinch, goes for the grappling, get you down. One thing we've seen with Wonderboy Thompson, if you look at the fights against, for example, Tyrone Woodley a couple of times, he had the fights there. Johnny Hendricks as well. Who else have you got there that's also grappling based that he's had to go down and throw with? Rory McDonald is a very good fighter that he beat too. Jorge Masvidal didn't do much. He lost to Wonderboy. He lost Darren Till at Liverpool. I was there for that, but there was no grappling really in that fight. It wasn't really grapple based. You look at guys he's grappled against. He does really well. He does so well against him. He's got decent takedown defense. Man, he's pretty solid all around. Any Wonderboy Thompson, he's got good striking, good footwork. He evades strikes a lot. Man, he's had the time off as well to recover properly. Gilbert Burns is a monster. Like, did he hit his peak getting to fight Usman? And then obviously he lost that fight, got stopped in that fight. But did he kind of start hitting that peak with that fight? Was that title shot his last opportunity, and now he'll start to kind of be in the middle range of the welterweight division? I still think Gilbert Burns got a lot about him for the division. I think his grappling aspect, I think his striking, which has come along leaps and bounds, is there. I think he's a lot of fun, Gilbert Burns, but I kind of fade off Gilbert Burns here, not because I don't think he can get Wonderboy down. I just think the evasiveness of Wonderboy is going to be a problem for Burns. Burns hasn't fought someone that level of striking. When you look at Woodley, he was just there, ready to hit. Damien Maia, he was right there, ready to hit. Gunnar Nelson got a decision win there. That was a good one to go against. But I look at the other guys he's kind of taken on, defeated, and fought against, and I just think, I don't know if you fought the guy that level of striking there, really. Wonderboy, he's an exceptional fighter, exceptional striking man. I've got to go. Hope Wonderboy pulls it off, but got to go with Burns. What is it makes you go with Burns, brother? I'm going Wonderboy in this one. I'm definitely picking Wonderboy. I think he can get a decision win. It's only 3 rounds. He only has to evade the punches and grappling, the crazy punching exchanges, and he has to avoid takedowns for 3 rounds. He's got a good chance there, man, and I don't see why he couldn't do it. We're going to go next up to the main event, which is Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier. 3. Not 1, not 2, but 3. Dustin turned down the opportunity as well to fight for the 155 belt. I think it was a good choice, in my opinion. I think the bigger money fight is this one with Conor McGregor. He gets the win here. He'll get a title shot. For Conor McGregor, he had the choice of really Dustin Poirier or Nate Diaz for a trilogy. Again, makes more money for him. I think he took this one as a bit of personal vendetta. Yeah, people forget Burns stopped. He dropped Super Usman. He did drop him. Yeah, he did. He caught him. He did punch him. He has got power. I'll be honest with you. I've never said Burns hasn't had power. But I just look at it. If I look at Usman and I look at Wonderboy, Wonderboy's not that kind of fighter to be there. I think Wonderboy's out by the time that punch comes. I think the footwork is done now. I think Usman's not that guy. Usman's kind of going to stay there and stay in your face. He's probably going to take that hit because he's going to throw back and he's going to try and get you down. But for me in this one here, man, Dustin Poirier, if you look at that first fight with Conor McGregor, he 100%. Kudos to him, lost the first round, okay? 10th round. How you doing, brother? Topuria hype about to explode after UFC 264. Dude, Topuria is a monster. He's going to mess up Hall's face, man. Absolutely mess him up. So I'm with you there too, man. But for me, yeah, the second fight they had. The first fight I don't look at too much. They're both at 145, but the second fight was a great one. You had Conor McGregor, first round, doing what he did. He was quick, fast, explosive, as he always is. He was starting to land getting jabs in the straights. Timing's right. Dustin Poirier was kind of shelling up a little bit, taking those hits, parrying them off a bit, but he was snapping out those leg kicks. They were just hitting out those leg kicks the whole time. Then he started to land his own strikes a little bit, but in the exchanges, Conor was having the better of the two. It's going to happen. This time around, you got to think, how much can Conor McGregor change in his fighting style? His fighting style has always been he's heavy on the front foot, bouncing back and forth, but he can't bounce like that for 5 rounds. He will definitely probably have done something to try and evolve and evade that kind of calf kicking. I don't think Dustin's going to stop it. The southpaw to southpaw seemed to be a bit of a problem for Conor McGregor, especially with Dustin Poirier. He's got the chin on him. Dustin Poirier can take a hit and keep going. He's got great cardio. His boxing, he showed in the second round that he starts putting a beating on you. He starts throwing those hands. It starts to hurt. And Dustin knew that he was getting those leg kicks and he knew those calf kicks were really starting to do the damage. Started to see it whittle down. You start to see Conor start to be a bit more flat-footed. He wasn't evading as many punches because he wasn't able to explode off that front foot back out the way of the punches. And you saw Dustin just land a couple more, and you just start to see it all adding up. I don't see too many things different this time round. They keep saying to each other on social media, don't be a bitch and jump for takedowns, or don't do this, let's stand and bang. They did that the first time. I see them doing it this time too. I think Dustin's happy to stand and bang. I think he'll probably mask the leg kicks a bit more this time. He'll definitely work with Mike Brown at ATT and the boys there. And definitely trying to mask or set those calf kicks up more because they're there to be done. You can't change a leopard print. If you're Conor McGregor, that's your style. You have a way of fighting. You like to bounce back and forth. The first round, he can do this very well. Starts to taper off the second and third. You get past the first round with Conor, you start to enter a round where the fight starts to come into your favor. It definitely starts to start with Conor, the explosive power he has at the first. Then over the round, each round it starts to come more in your favor because he's he just doesn't have the ability to go hard for 5 rounds. He really does not. His style doesn't match that kind of fighting. We saw in the boxing match with Floyd Mayweather is a good example. He just started to gas, started to slow down, he's sloppy with his punches and movement. He just doesn't have it. So with this, I see that he's going to fight Dustin. I think he'll have the better of the exchange in the first round. He'll take some calf kicks, maybe not as many calf kicks this time around in the first round. But come the second round, when things start to slow down, I think Dustin's going to go for the same again. He's probably going to. He needs to set them up a little bit better because Conor caught a couple, as we saw. Can't really afford to be getting those caught. I think he needs to definitely mask them, end them on the end of a combination. Don't be throwing them blind. Just don't throw them open, just don't throw them on its own. Just throw a jab and anything. Just throw anything, then a kick. Something, then a kick. Just make Conor move, Make him think. Even if Conor throws a punch, throw a calf kick straight back. That's just your immediate reaction. Not throw a punch, just throw the calf kicks. And it will absolutely decimate Conor. He will not be able to handle it. I don't see Conor winning it. Honestly, I don't. I think when you've got that much money in your bank, you're sliding your little silk pillows, you're waking up every day training in Abu Dhabi or wherever the hell it is, and you're having the luxury life. The drive and determination, it starts to peter off. I don't care what anyone says. It definitely starts to calm down a bit, especially for someone like Conor McGregor. He likes to get the hype on him. He likes to get the attention and the money, but at the same time, has he ever defended a UFC belt? No. Has he ever defended a Cage Warriors belt? No. He's never even defended a title. So do I call him a great champion? Never. Do I think he's a very good fighter? He's a very, very top fighter. I think he's a top fighter. Not ever, but definitely a top fighter that, the past 10 years, he's been a very good fighter. I don't pump his elite. I just don't. So I'm kind of going on the Dustin Poirier side here. I definitely see him getting this. I can see Dustin Poirier getting a stoppage. Again, maybe third round. I think I'm going to give Conor a bit of respect. I can see definitely getting third round stoppage here. So I'm going to jump over to the betting side of things. Do you know what I forgot to say at the start of the video is if you're watching, can you hit the like button? It takes 2 seconds to help with the algorithm. If you comment and subscribe, if you're new, hit that subscribe button. It'd be great to have new people on the channel. And again, if you're part of the Ape Nation and you're AMC strong, hold people, because we are going to the moon. And the hedgies are going to get wedgies, and that's what it's all about. Let's do it, people. So let's go to the betting side of things. So we've got it down here. I'm going to look at some of the odds. See, I haven't got any prop bets or anything. I can just do straight bets on there. So Alen against Yaozong. You've got here, what is it? So Alan's like a 140 favorite. It looks like 150, and Yaozong's a plus 130. Alan's that's a good bet, 140, 150. I'd take that. If I can get those numbers, I'd do a straight bet for him on that. Rivera against Glass. Rivera's, wow, plus 290. And then Glass is like a minus 400 nearly. Bloody, I'd probably be close to minus 400 come fight down. Stay clear of that one. You'd probably want to do over 2.5 rounds. That is something I think you should look at if you're going to do bets on that fight. I think that'd be a good one to look at. Brad Tavares against Omari Akhmedov. What you got here? So Tavares favorite at minus 170. Akhmedov again plus 140 underdog. I was picking Tavares, but I still probably wouldn't put any money on that fight because Akhmedov can sometimes surprise people, as he has done recently. Jennifer Maia is coming in as a hot favorite at minus 200 against Jessica Eye. She's maybe a parlay piece, Jennifer Maia here. Jessica Eye minus 160. I don't see much money on that one, but if you look at the Plessis here, he is a minus 120 and Giles is minus 110. Pretty much it's going to be a pick and fight come that. And I do think it's a tight contest. So I would probably avoid that one from the betting perspective. Michel Pereira and Niko Price. Pereira is minus 170. Niko Price 130. Niko Price for an underdog money, that's not bad at all. I don't mind a cheeky little couple of quid to the side. That is not a bad bet. Topuria Ryan Hall, though, I would go with KO Topuria as a prop bet. He is a minus 250 here, and Ryan Hall is a plus 200. I'd definitely go Topuria a plus on. I probably get good money for that. Probably get plus money for a KO. Carlos Condit is a plus 150, and Max Griffin is a minus 190. Again, there's not much money in that one. unless you do a prop bet. Max Griffin, maybe get a decision win. You could do plus 2.5 rounds. O'Malley is, Jesus fucking Christ. He is like a minus 900 fighter against Moutinho, who's a plus 600. Absolute joke, isn't it? Not even, it's like pissing in the wind looking at that fight. What's the point of making that? Aldana is minus 120. Yana Kunitskaya, she's like a plus 100. Pretty much going to turn him into a pick 'em on the night, probably. Aldana and Kunitskaya, it's tight on that. Wife beater against Tai Tuivasa. Tai Tuivasa, minus 140. He's the favourite. Good money there. I'd put money on Tai Tuivasa. Could become a legend in my eyes. Gilbert Burns is a plus 140 against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, who's a minus 150, man. I like that, man. Prop bets again. You could go for a Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, in my opinion, for KO or like a over 2.5 rounds decision win. Conor McGregor is a plus 100 and Dustin's a minus 130. That's great odds, man. I'd go just a Poirier stoppage, man. I'd go finish, definitely, man. I'd be all over that. Minus 120 is great money. So yeah, that could change during the week. Don't forget, because the closer we get to fight time, you might get a lot of people putting money on the bet. So don't expect that to stay the same. That might switch over because you might get a lot of people jumping on the Conor train because they see Conor as plus money. But man, there's some good odds there. But man, that is the UFC 264 card. Like I said, Will couldn't make it because of family commitments. But he's my boy. I love him. Got a lot of time for him. But look, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. I love you all. Take care of each other. Enjoy the fight game. Enjoy each other's company. Enjoy the comments. Talk to each other. Make this happen. Let's have an MMA community at the MMA Huddle, people.